Yo, what is good, guys? It's Gentleman here, and I can't quite figure out why it is that all of my coworkers at this one job, the retail job that I have, can't quite figure out how to keep their clothes on. It doesn't quite make sense to me. And I've made like two videos, I think, about my coworkers there, and I have another one that just happened, like not that long ago. And so I decided I would tell you guys today because all these people that I work with, I don't know why this keeps happening, but it has happened more than it should. And literally, this happening at all is more than it should. But yeah, I'm just going to hop right into this. So, I was working the other day and I was on the job called putaways, is what we call it. And what we do is, there's the change rooms in the store where people like they to pick up the clothes they want to try on, they take it there and they try it on. And if they don't like want to take it, they don't want to buy it, they like either drop it in this bin or like hang it up on the shelf that we have. And my job was to like sort everything and then take it back to where it came from. It's a pretty straightforward job. And I'm doing it for a while, and as I'm doing it, like, I have to let people into the change rooms because, I'm just supposed to keep track of stuff like that. And some of them lock, most of them do, but some of them don't. And it honestly, it changes sometimes. Some will lock, some won't. It's very strange. So, I was just doing my thing. I was hanging up clothes and, just doing my thing. And then I hear a knock on one of the change room doors. And I look over to see if it's a customer knocking on one or if it's one of my coworkers, like letting someone in and like knocking on a door to see if someone's using it. But that wasn't the case. There's no one there. Like there's no one in here, and I was really confused. And so I didn't think anyone was in the change rooms at all because I was in charge of those, right? So I was keeping track of that. And as far as I knew, everyone had left. But I hear this knocking on one of the far change rooms. And, I go see like what it is. I walk towards it and I say like, hey, is someone in there? And my coworker's like, yeah, it's me. And I'm like, oh, okay. And what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm trying on clothes. And I'm like, all right, why are you knocking? She's like, I need your help. And I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, I don't have any clothes in here. And I'm like, what? You're trying on clothes is what you said. I'm like, yeah, but they're not in here anymore. Like, okay, then put your own back on. Like, it doesn't seem that hard. She's like, they're not here either. And so I'm just confused. I'm like, why are your clothes not there? She's like, well, I left them in here, and they're not here. I'm like, and she was stumbling just like I just did because my brain blanked. I'm like, that doesn't even make sense. But like, okay, just like, I'll turn around, just come on out and like find them. She's like, no, I can't come out. I'm naked. I'm like, you're naked? She's like, yeah, my laundry day, I didn't quite get it, and I didn't have any underwear, so I wasn't wearing any today. And I'm like, oh my, are you serious? And all the past experiences like fly through my head during this. I'm like, why does this keep happening with my coworkers? And why do I always have to be around to witness this happening? Why can't this happen when I'm not around? This doesn't have to happen. I'm like, so you're telling me you're naked in that change room with no clothes there? It's like, yeah, and I was trying on clothes because it's the end of my shift, and yeah, I was thinking of getting stuff, but I don't want to get anything. I'm like, okay, well, here, I'll give you some clothes from the rack, and you can walk out. She's like, no, but then I have to leave with them. I don't want to buy them, and I have to explain what happens, and I can't explain it. I'm like, okay, can I ask you a question? She's like, what's up? And it's like, how did your clothes get taken? How did that happen? And so she proceeds to tell me that she had extra hangers in there because she didn't want her clothes touching like the ground or the bench or anything. So she hung them up so they look like our product, I guess. And then she's like, yeah, and I left them in here. I left the door open and I went to the bathroom quickly, and it was all in here, so someone must have cleared it because like I was on the cash register for a little bit. I had to hop on. It was getting busy. I'm like, So you're telling me that you walked out of the change room completely naked to go to the bathroom? It's like, yeah, I just thought it would be like a quick thing and no one noticed, and like no one did notice, but like my clothes are gone. I'm like, oh my, are you serious? She's like, okay, can you look for them in the bin? I know you're like going through things. And then she told me what I was looking for, and I'm like, okay, sure, I'll look for them. And then, she's like, yeah, and I need you to like make sure no customers like come to this change room. I'm like, okay, sure, I can do that. I'm directing them to the change rooms anyways, so it's fine. And usually customers will come up to me and ask me if I can open up a fitting room, because they're locked most of the time anyways. Keyword most of the time though. And so it was going pretty well. I was looking for a clothes. I couldn't find them. It took me a really long time, and I still hadn't found them. And I was, still trying to do my job. And I was letting people in the change rooms and all that. But I avoided the one that she was in, and I hadn't found her clothes yet. And eventually, as I was doing my thing, sorting through things, still looking for her clothes, I hear a door open followed by like a scream, and someone's like, oh, I'm sorry, and it was a guy, and he quickly closed the door, and I look over, and he opened the change room that my coworker was in, and he quickly like goes into another one, and I'm like, oh no. And then I don't go talk to her immediately. The customer doesn't take very long, and then he leaves, and I think he actually bought the item, which is kind of funny. But I walk up to her, and she's like, why did you let that happen? I'm like, I didn't let that happen. Like, he didn't come up to me. He just walked in and chose the wrong change room. And she was like embarrassed, obviously, but she wasn't like mad at me. She's like, okay, this is fine, it's fine. Did you find my clothes? And I ended up finding her shirt, but not her pants. So I told her that, and I gave it to her. I said, like, I'm sorry, I can't find them. And so she's like, okay, fine. And then she told me to turn around. I turned around, and then she ran into the bathroom. And she stayed there for, I believe, about an hour. And eventually I did find them, and so I waited till no one was around. I knocked on the door, told her I found them, and she took them from me through the door, and then she was on her way. And that was that. And she thanked me. She's like, thank you so much. Thank you. I'm so sorry that you had to deal with that. Thank you for helping me. I'm like, yeah, no problem. Just I literally asked her, like, what is it with you guys and not being able to like keep clothes on? So like, what do you mean? It's like, I have had so many experiences in this store with like you guys not being able to keep clothes on, and it's very weird. She's like, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. And then she's like, okay, I'm going to leave now. I'm like, okay, have fun with that. And then she left, and I went about the rest of my shift relatively normal, and that was a very strange experience. Hopefully I don't have more of these experiences, because that's all of them. And yeah, hopefully that doesn't happen again. But I hope you guys enjoyed the story today. Leave a like if you did. Feel free to let me know in the comments if you have any similar stories, or just any like related stories, or any story you want to tell. And subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Later.